gesture by USD 503 and Parsons High School, honoring Coach Barkas. Ryan, I had coach for 2 or 3 classes. Did you have Don Barkas?
Oh yeah, I had the infamous history classes with Coach Barkas.
Yeah, that was his thing. Yeah, he was the history guy, and I had him for at least 3 classes. And now he's out trying to pump up the Vikings as they get ready to open up the 2019 season against the Iola Mustangs. And Ryan, for people who maybe didn't get to listen to all of Coach Freese's pregame interview, it's going to be a different look for the Vikings this year. We know DeQuan Johnson out for the year with a knee injury, so that means Ethan Happ is going to be the starting quarterback. And you always lose guys to injury and to graduation, but it looks like they have moved up the national anthem to a little bit earlier than we were told they were going to play it. So we're going to take a 2-minute break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Viking Football on V93.
When it comes to choosing the best health care for yourself and your loved ones, there are other hospitals.
And then there's our hospital.
The difference is that while other hospitals will care for you,
we will actually care about you.
Other hospitals make decisions based on what's best for their bottom line,
while we do what's best for our community.
If you're looking for a pretty hospital, they're out there.
But if you're looking for the best hospital, it's here.
And here.
When award-earning care is as close as this,
there's no reason to go anywhere else.
At Labette Health, we center around you.
And we're back live at Marvel Park. Ryan, either my cell phone, the clock is either off, or we're just running a few minutes ahead of schedule because they are teed up, ready to go at 6:58 p.m. But we'll get your thoughts here in just a second. It's going to be Iola kicking off to the hometown Vikings. It'll be speedster Derek Williams back at the 11-yard line waiting for this kick. We're about ready to start the 2019 season. Iola in their traveling white, Parsons in their home blue. Again, you can pick up a live video feed. The KLKC Facebook page. It's a little pooch kick. We saw a lot of that last year. It's going to be fielded at about the 32-yard line. And after a short pickup, Vikings brought down just across the 35. It was Matt Ray on the return. And the Vikings will start over 1st and 10 on their own 35. And Ryan, before the national anthem, I was saying the Vikings won't have the athleticism that they had last year, but I've been told they might be a little bit stronger in the trenches on the line of scrimmage, and that's where most football games are won and lost.
Yeah, that's very well true, and Yusuf Kendrick coming back is a big addition. And Houck saw the field quite a bit last year, too, in relief of Freese and Johnson, and I think he'll be able to step up to the challenge this year.
Vikings for their first offensive play with spread set. It's going to be a pitch play to Yusuf. He fumbles it, and he is fortunate to pick that up. There's a little pitch to the near side, and the Vikings actually gain a yard on that. Almost disaster on the Vikings' first play. Brings up 2nd and 9. Beautiful brand new scoreboard at Marvel Park this year. Shows 11:25 and counting We do expect to see a lot more running out of the Vikings this year, although right now the backfield is empty. Houck in the shotgun, takes the snap, goes to the far side, and underthrows the intended receiver. That'll bring up 3rd and long. He was trying to hit Derek Williams. So 3rd and 9 for the Vikings. Ball spotted on the Viking 36.
Looks like just a little bit of first game jitters, and it's amazingly humid outside, so it makes it even tougher to hold onto the ball, whether that's running it or throwing that pass.
Yeah, last I checked, the heat index was a balmy 100 degrees here at Marvel Park, so it is plenty warm in the stadium and out on the field. So the Vikings are going to have to pick up a 3rd and 9. Houck in the shotgun, rolling to the right, throws, and that is going to be incomplete. Barkus had it briefly. Tanner Barkus couldn't come down with it. Nice job in the secondary by the Mustangs, and they force the Vikings to a 3 and out.
Pretty good throw by Houck right there, and hit Barkus in the hands with it, but he took a pretty good shot from the defense by the Mustangs. Unfortunately, we're going to have to punt the ball here, but line looked like they did a pretty good job, and should be interesting to see what we can do on defense coming out.
Josh Kaufman, the return man for Iola, standing on his own 30. Vikings in their punt formation. It's a good snap. High end over end kick that takes a decent bounce for the Vikings. Will go out of bounds at around the Iola 36-yard line, and that's where the Mustangs will begin their first offensive possession.
Like I was saying earlier, with it being hot and humid, and with this being such an emotional game for the players, with it being Coach Barkus' night, it's going to make it a little more difficult to get things going. I think once we settle down, get in the flow of the game, then that'll be just like clockwork.
You can also pick up that live video stream, Parsons Vikings Sports, on YouTube. It's also available on Twitter and also the KLKC Facebook page. Lots of ways to video stream. Little trap play. And getting into the secondary, it's going to be a 1st down and more. He's still on his feet all the way down to the Viking 42-yard line. Zane Whitney, 5'6", 150-pound senior, carried about half of the Viking team for 10 yards, and Iola on the move, 1st and 10 from the Viking 42-yard line.
Kind of a triple option look to start the game for the Mustangs, and there's a lot of moving parts on there. You have motion one way, motion the other way. Vikings got to do a little better job of wrapping up at the line of scrimmage.
Carson Sigg, the quarterback, under center. Another running play. This time it's going to go for a loss. Looks like they wanted to go over right tackle, and there was absolutely nothing there. Nice surge by the defensive line.
Good job up front by the Viking defensive line. When you're moving this fast with all those different parts, you have to stand your ground, and when that ball carrier comes to you, wrap up and let your buddies come to you and help you make that tackle.
2nd and a long 11 for Iola. They want to throw for the first time to the far side, and it's going to be caught and then knocked out of bounds. So it's a decent gain inside the Viking 40 down to around the 37 or 38-yard line, bring up about a 3rd and 6. We have 10:01 to play in our opening quarter.
Good coverage there by the Vikes. He floated the pass out there just above, it looked like Croy Hogan's hands, and Derek was able to come over and kind of finish the tackle up. Good coverage. He was right there, just outstretched his hands.
Iola facing a 3rd and 6. Little option play. Running back cuts back, avoids one tackler, but not the second one. He is going to be wrapped up short of the 1st down by Croy Hogan. And that'll bring up 4th down. And this is in that weird part of the field where in high school football, on the Viking 39. Looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field. Sometimes the high school coach will punt for field position, but a lot of times at the high school level, they will go and line up and go for it on 4th down, even though it's 4th and 7.
Big key, make sure and watch the football here because you don't want them to get any closer.
Colin at quarterback wants to throw under a little bit of pressure, and he is going to be sacked. Nobody open downfield, and the Vikings come up with a big stop on 4th down.
Great play there by the Viking front. He spun around, looked like he had a bit of a gap to get through, and good job. I think it was 65 on the play there, and he wrapped him up big fourth down stop. That's going to help your offense settle down. Your defense stopped them after a big first down conversion. Let's see if the Vikings can settle down here, make a couple complete passes or get a good long run here to get this offense going.
Yeah, Vikes looked a little shaky on their first possession. They have 3 receivers to the far side. Hauk, pump fake. Now he's looking. Now he wants to go deep, and it's going to be caught by Derek Williams, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 25.
Good pitch and catch there by Hauk to Derek. The pump fake got enough time to get Derek behind the linebackers, behind the safeties. Made a great throw and great catch. Good first down. Looked a lot better on that throw there than on that first series.
So they're going to spot the ball just outside the Iola 25-yard line. Kendrick will be the running back. As the Viking offense comes up to the line of scrimmage, 2 receivers left, 2 receivers right. Now Hauk looks over to the sideline. We have 8:50 to play in our first quarter. We're tied at 0. Hauk wants to throw again, directing traffic. He's under pressure. He's going to have to outrun a couple of guys. Throws it toward the end zone. It's intercepted in the end zone. And it's brought out to the 10, 15. This could go a long ways. Knocked down at around the 28-yard line. And Hauk's going to learn as this season progresses. That was probably a situation where he probably would have been best just to tuck that ball in and gain 1 or 2 yards. But he saw somebody in the end zone and tried to make a play, but it's intercepted and brought back out to the 29-yard line of Parsons. So we have our first turnover of the evening.
Yeah, there was 2 Viking receivers that were going to the far side of the field, but I don't think he's seen the defender in between the 2 wide receivers. He was right there about the line of scrimmage.
Running play is going to be blown up in the backfield for a loss back to the 25-yard line. Shooting through the gap was Noah Ryan, 6'3", 195-pound senior. He's going to be a big part of the Viking defense this year.
That was a great play. Read that all the way from the start, made a nice tackle. Good hit. Way to go, Vikes. Keep up the pressure on defense here.
Well, the Viking defense was outstanding all of last season. They ran into some trouble against 3A powerhouses, Galena and Sabetha, but other than that, they held their own and then some against every opponent. It's another running play, and it's around the left edge for a nice gain. It's going to be just short of the first down. It was Braden Cole on the keeper, and it's going to be 3rd and short for the Mustangs. 3rd, and we'll call it 3rd and 1. Ball just short of the Iola 38-yard line.
That triple option right there, it is assignment football. You have the defensive end is either going to go quarterback or pitch man, but they also have the dive back in there. You got to stay home where you're at. Stay with your guy.
Cole under center. Well, it looked like somebody moved early, but no flag, and then they power it forward. The fullback right up the middle to the 40-yard line. That is enough for an Iola first down.
Vikings initially had contact on him right at the threshold, and he just willed his way for that extra half a yard to get the first down.
I'm sure this has done wonders for Iola's confidence because they got pretty much dominated last year by the Vikings. They were not prepared at all for the Vikings' athleticism and that spread look. But they have come ready to play tonight, and they are moving the ball nicely. Cole takes the snap, hit at the line of scrimmage, and running back will be thrown out of bounds at around the 41, 42-yard line, so it's a short gain. We'll call it a pickup of about 2, bring up 2nd down and 8 for Iola. We have 6:27 to go in our opening quarter. We are tied at 0.
Good job by the Viking defense there. When you're going to that pitch, you want to get them as far to the sideline as you possibly can, and it makes the field a lot smaller instead of giving them enough room to go outside and break around and get a big gain.
Cole up to the line of scrimmage, puts a man in motion, takes the snap, and we have illegal procedure. It's our first penalty of the contest. I'm going to call it a false start on Iola, and that'll back them up 5 yards. So it'll go from 2nd and 8 to 2nd and 13.
That is the tricky part when you are running that triple style offense, there's a lot of moving parts, and if you're moving at the wrong time or you don't get the cadence just right, you're going to get a lot of those false start penalties, and hopefully they keep an eye on that. It looks like there have been a couple early starts already.
So they wind the clock. Now exactly 6 minutes to play in our opening quarter. Iola up to the line of scrimmage. They'll send Miguel Doolittle, split to the near side. Oh, a nice hole right up the middle and into the secondary and into Viking territory. Running back to the 35, the 30, and will be knocked out of bounds. Vikings had trouble reading that play. It was Kason Barker, the running back, and it is a huge pickup for Iola all the way down to the Vikings' 30-yard line, where the Mustangs will have it 1st and 10 with 5:43 to play in quarter number 1.
Mustangs did a good job there. He faked it and ran a counter back to his right, and there was no one staying back home, and he had a hole. You could put a big truck through that hole that he had to run through, and took off to the races there. Good job of the Vikings to run him down, see if they can't hold him to another 4 and out.
So they're going to spot the ball at the Viking 29-yard line. 1st and 10 for Iola. Cole under center, takes the snap. Well, he runs into his own man, is going to get swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage. Nice job again by the Viking defensive line. Ricky Ellis, first man through for the Vikings. It's going to be a loss back to the 31. So 2nd and 11 for Iola. Down to 5 minutes to play in the first quarter.
That's where vision as a defensive lineman, you want to make sure after that initial contact, keep your eyes and got to see which way everyone's going. Stay with your man, then make that big play right there.
Well, we'll send Doolittle again, split to the near side. Put a man in motion. The ball is loose and covered by quarterback of Iola. So another loss on the play. And, you know, these are kind of things you expect to see. First quarter of the season opener, the Vikings have already thrown an interception in the end zone. They had a fumble earlier in the quarter. Now Iola has a fumble as well. Fortunately, they were able to jump on it, but it's still going to bring up 3rd and long. 3rd and 13 from the Parsons 33-yard line. We'll see what the Iola coaching staff comes up with on 3rd and long, assuming this is 4-down territory again for the Mustangs. And just what you were talking about, Ryan, I think we're going to have another false start or some sort of illegal procedure on the Mustangs. So another false start. So now a 3rd and 18, and all of a sudden Iola is going in the wrong direction.
It looks like a couple times I've seen them moving early, it's the right tackle or the left tackle trying to get the edge on the defensive ends or that outside linebacker. If you glitch just a hair, the refs are going to see it and call it. Make sure you stay set. But good news for the Vikings, moved them back, and you got 3rd and a mile here.
Yep, 3rd and 18 now from the Viking 38. So if the Viking defense can stiffen here, don't give up a big play on 3rd and long. Safety's playing well off the line of scrimmage. Pass to Doolittle. He catches it inside the 30 down to about the 26. So that was a nice pickup for Iola, and that'll give them a much more manageable 4th down and about 6.5 yards.
Vikings defense put some good pressure on him. He was able to put a nice ball out there to get the completion. Good tackle by the Viking defender there to make sure that he didn't let it go any further than whenever he could have probably kept running there. It was a great tackle.
So 4th and 6 from the Vikings 26. 3:15 to play in our opening quarter. There's the snap. Quarterback rolling to the far side. He's under pressure, and he overshoots his intended target. That would have been a 1st down and much more had he been able to haul that in. So the Viking defense catches a bit of a break on that play. And for the second time here in the first quarter, though, the Viking defense holds on 4th down, and they give the offense another shot.
Shades of last year, they would get a big play, and the Vikings defense would bend but didn't break completely, keeping them in check and making a good play on 4th down to not allow the Mustangs to get that 1st down to continue the drive.
So Ethan Houck back out at quarterback. Vikings have 3 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near side. It's going to be a running play to Yusuf, and he's got a nice hole, and he runs over a defender before getting brought down at about the 33-yard line, and that's what the Vikings are going to need to see a lot of this year.
Yusuf lowered his shoulder right there at the end of the run. Looks like he's a little more comfortable after that initial fumble on the first drive. Put his head down, got a great 8-yard gain on first down.
Only 5'9", but he's listed at 195, so he's pushing 200 pounds. He's going to be tough to bring down by one guy. They give it to him again right up the middle. This time a couple of guys gang tackle him, and he's going to be a little bit short of the first down. They're going to spot the ball right around the 35-yard line. And we may have had a timeout called. 2:22, they've stopped the clock. Are they going to do it for a measurement? I mean, he's clearly short, but they may want to see. Exactly, shows close to half a yard short from my vantage point. But they are going to bring the sticks out.
Looking at the Mustangs defensive line, they got a couple kids there that are pretty good size. The number 77 who was in on that lowered a pretty big hit on Kendrick there. He goes at 6'2", 265, and that's a pretty big boy for high school football.
Well, the Vikings are not half a yard short. They are just a few inches short. And I'm wondering also if this stoppage in play is also just for a water break. I forgot they do that at the high school level early in the year when you have 100-degree heat index. Sometimes they will just stop the game and make sure everybody staying hydrated. Vikings have had a lot of cramping issues over the years on the first couple of weeks of the year before the weather starts to cool off.
It goes to show how important those summer weight programs are. If you're there every day, you get your body used to that heat a little bit, and you'll be able to make it through a full game without cramping up.
So they wind the clock. Vikings back out on the field, 3rd and inches. You would expect Kendrick to get it again. Sure enough, Yusuf has a decent hole. Doesn't pick up a lot, but he didn't need much, and it's going to be a first down for the Parsons Vikings as Yusuf gets it across the 35 to the 37. And I know one thing, Ryan, these games are going to go a lot quicker this year because the Vikings are going to be keeping the ball on the ground a lot more than they did last season, and that's going to keep the clock moving.
Well, when you got a running back like Yusuf is, he looks like he wants that ball. Give it to me as many times in this game as possible.
4 receivers for the Vikings. Throw to Derek at the near side, gets around a man, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 50-yard line. Derek Williams, great athlete. And very glad Derek decided to go out. I know he was very hesitant about playing after he heard that Daquan was out for the year, but first day of practice he was there, and I know he was a welcome addition to the roster.
Yeah, there's some things you can't teach, and speed and athleticism are 2 of those things that you can't teach, and he has both of those.
Noah Ryan, one of the men split to the far side, but it's going to be a pitch play to Kendrick, and this time the Iola defense smothers him in the backfield for a 2 or 3 yard loss. That'll push it back into the Viking half of the field, right around the Parsons 47-yard line. We'll bring up 2nd and 13. Still no score. Minute and a half to play in our opening quarter. You can pick up a live video feed at the KLKC Facebook page. Also, try Parsons Vikings Sports on YouTube. Vikings facing 2nd and long. Hauk in the shotgun, takes the snap, rolling to the near side. Pump fakes, gets around one man, and he's going to have to run out of bounds. Takes a short loss of about a yard.
Wasn't a whole lot looking very good out there. The Mustangs had good coverage. Hauk did the right thing by not trying to force the ball into a tight window, especially when you're running across your body. It's one of the toughest throws in football for a quarterback to make.
So now the Vikings looking at a 3rd and 14 from their own 46-yard line. 1 minute, 3 seconds to go in the opening quarter.
You'd love to see Derek get out in space right here. He has a lot of room on the far side of the field. If he can just get one block, he can turn that ball upfield.
Hauk looking to throw. It's tipped and nearly intercepted, but we have a flag down as well. Maybe holding on the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm not seeing what the flag is being thrown for.
Yeah, I never really saw what the call was, but I guess they're essentially picking up the flag because the Vikings punt team is out on the field. Sig back to receive the punt for Iola. Good snap, and the kick is away. Sig thought he was going to get a good bounce, but it ends up bouncing away from him. Ends up being a decent kick. We have another flag on the field. Ball went out of bounds around the Iola 27-yard line.
Not too bad of a punt by Parsons. I thought the ball was going to bounce and just keep going inside the 20 there, but just took a weird hop left and just went straight out of bounds.
Well, it looks like this is going to be on the Vikings. It's going to be some sort of chop block, sure enough. No, it's going to be on Iola. So we'll wait and see where they end up placing the ball after they mark off some penalty yardage. Just 50 seconds to play in quarter number 1. We are tied at 0. Iola's done some damage on the ground, but the Viking defense, like they did so many times last year, bend but will not break. So that penalty is going to move the ball all the way back. They haven't actually set it yet, but it looks like it's going to be around the Iola 33-yard line, I believe.
I don't know if that's just a 5-yard penalty or if that's a 10-yard penalty to mark it back on Iola there.
Okay, now they're marking it off from where the ball went out of bounds, I believe. So this is going to be a big penalty all the way back inside the 15-yard line to around the 14. So
normally when you see that with the chop block or block below the knees, normally you see that's a personal foul getting that 15 yards back.
So Iola has it on their own 14-yard line. Just 50 seconds to go in quarter number 1. Season opener for both teams. They go with the toss play, and this is going to go for a nice gain and a first down out across the 25 to about the 26. And Iola picks up another first down on the ground. Adam Atwell, the sophomore running back. Got some nice blocking out in front of him.
Wasn't a whole lot looking good on the Vikes there. They kind of got caught on their heels and quick pitch out to the left. Good speed by the Mustangs. Vikings contained them after a big gain. Gotta stay home.
Chris Beard Jr. runs into the Viking lineup. Iola with the running play right up the middle, and it's a decent gain across the 30 to about the 33. So nice pickup on first down for Iola, and that will almost certainly bring us to the end of quarter number 1.
Pretty good back and forth. Not a lot of great plays. There's been a couple big chunk plays by both teams, but still first game of the year, you're working out jitters, making sure all the different plays are memorized and kind of getting forgetful a little bit.
And we have reached the end of quarter number 1. We're tied at 0, and we'll be back in 1 minute. You're listening to Viking Football on B93.
When it comes to choosing the best health care for yourself and your loved ones, there are other hospitals.
And then there's our hospital.
The difference is that while other hospitals will care for you,
We will actually care about you.
Other hospitals make decisions based on what's best for their bottom line.
While we do what's best for our community.
If you're looking for a pretty hospital, they're out there.
But if you're looking for the best hospital, it's here.
And here.
When award-earning care is as close as this,
There's no reason to go anywhere else.
At Labette Health, we center around you.
Hi, it's Brian at Bowen Pharmacy. Today I want to visit with you about the flu shot. It's that time of the year. And at Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South, we have. Did you know that most insurances pay 100% of your flu shot? That makes it $0, no out-of-pocket expense to you. If you want your flu shot and you want us to do it, please come see us. And we'd be more than happy to always take care of you and your family, where your family comes first at Bowen Pharmacy.
And we are back live at Marvel Park. Getting ready for the start of quarter number 2. Iola Mustangs facing a 2nd and 5 from their own 32-yard line. And it looks like one of the officials is trying to get the Parsons trainer's attention. Something going on over at maybe on the Iola sideline. I think everything's okay, and we're just about ready for football. Viking defense back out on the field. Here comes the Iola offense.
Yeah, it looked like, I think the white hat, the radio that the referees have between each other, I think it fell out, and I don't know if he's missing a battery or it broke or whatever, but it's going to make communication for those officials a little more difficult for the rest of the way.
Here comes Iola up to the line of scrimmage. Braden Cole, the quarterback, looks over the Viking defense, puts a man in motion. Running play over right tackle. This is a huge play into the Viking secondary, and getting wrapped up right around the 50-yard line is Isaac Batters. It was Matt Ray with the touchdown-saving tackle for the Vikings. And spot the ball just outside the Viking 47-yard line. Iola continuing to have a lot of success running the football against the Vikings here in the first half. But that said, the Viking defense has figured out a way to keep Iola off the scoreboard. We're still tied at 0, 11:42 to play in our first half.
A lot of those big runs have been coming right up the middle, so the linemen are getting just knocked back from the original spot.
The running play, this time coming to the near side, and it's another first down for Iola inside the 35 down to about the 33. So Iola on the move. They have it 1st and 10 from the Parsons 33-yard line.
Pretty simple little counter by Iola. Fake right, run it back to the left. The defensive end for the Vikings needs to stand still, hold his ground to make him bounce that ball outside, where you have a little bit more help outside with your linebackers flowing and your safeties being able to flow from over the top.
Cole Rogers runs into the lineup for Iola. He'll be split to the near side. There's the snap. Little pitch play is going to go for yet another first down and much, much more. Tariq Williams with a nice tackle on the far side, but yet another first down for Iola, and they are really driving at will on the Vikings right now, and they will have it 1st and 10 from the Parsons 20-yard line.
Iola's moving with a little bit more pace than what I've seen in the first quarter and running the ball to both sides of the field, keeping the Viking defense guessing which way they're going. You gotta stay home, cover your man, and you should be able to negate some of these big plays in this triple option look.
Braden Cole under center, 1st and 10 for Iola from the Parsons 21-yard line. Takes the snap, they keep it on the ground, and breaking a tackle and getting into the Viking secondary again for yet another first down. Big first half for Kason Barker, and it will be 1st and goal for Iola. This is the deepest penetration that either team has had here in the first half. And the Viking defense will have to stiffen. They're going to keep Iola out of the end zone. Clock on the move, 10:37 to play in the first half. 1st and goal for the Mustangs from the Viking 7.
The Viking defender had a hand on him on a 2-yard gain. You can't wrap these guys up top, get them around the body, get them around the legs, take them down.
Cole takes the snap to Barker right up the middle, and he is into the end zone for a touchdown. Barker with a 7-yard scamper right up the middle. And Iola strikes first. They go on top of Parsons 6-0. 10:16 to play in the first half.
Vikings were on the field a long time defensively that first quarter, and it showed right there that conditioning, as hot as it is, you really got to dig down deep, hold your ground, and wrap up. If you're not going to be able to take them down just by yourself, you got the other defenders running to the ball to make sure and help you out. Good run by the Mustangs there. Got to give them credit.
That ended up being an 86-yard drive by the Mustangs, and it didn't take that much time either. They're going to try the extra point. Kick is on the way. And it is good. Knocking it through is Peter Venter, and Iola leads it 7-0 with 10:16 to play in quarter number 2. We'll step away for 30 seconds and be right back. You're listening to Viking Football on V93.
It could happen anytime. place. You feel a tickle in your face. You move your arm feels weak. The words won't come when you're trying to speak. Folks may think it's all a joke, but it ain't no joke, it's a stroke. Face, arm, speech, time.
That spells fast.
Better call 911 at Stroke's first sign. Time means brain, so don't waste time. Time means brain, so don't waste time. Act fast. Face, arm, speech, time. Act fast. Face, arm, speech, time. Act fast.
In an emergency, take me to Labette Health.
Yeah, we are back live at Marvel Park. Iola marches 86 yards to get on the board first. They lead Parsons 7-0, 10:16 to play in the first half. And I don't think I've ever seen this before, Ryan. It looks like one of the guys on the Viking return team is not wearing shoes. What am I missing here?
Those are definitely.
What am I seeing here?
I don't know if they're like a caramel colored kind of cleat.
Is that what it is?
Maybe they're a gold cleat.
Now I can see it. They're almost flesh colored. It looked like he was out there barefoot, and I thought, I don't even know if that's legal anymore.
I've seen in the old days, you see some kickers wear one shoe and the other one
some of the
barefoot,
kickers would go barefoot, absolutely.
I don't know how well that would help you out running on the grass field barefoot trying to return a kick here.
So it's going to be Iola kicking off to the Vikings. We went with the pooch kick last time, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Ball's going to bounce at the 30 and be picked up by the Vikings. And a decent return out to about the 41. And looks like same strategy as last year, even though the Vikings don't have as many speed guys this year. Teams are still going to be a little bit leery of kicking deep against Parsons, trying to keep the Vikings from having those long kickoff returns. So let's see if the Viking offense can get clicking here. They're going to have it 1st and 10. Ball spotted just across the Viking 40-yard line. Parsons trailing at 7-0 with 10:08 to play in quarter number 2.
One benefit of them pooching is a lot of times you're going to get some really good starting field position, especially right here where you're on your own 40.
Here's the snap. They give it to Derek Williams. He cuts back, slips a tackle, then a stiff arm. And he's going to be knocked out about the 46. And, you know, he's not quite as fast as Daquan, but he might be quicker. He might be quicker than Daquan. It's hard to say, but you can see right there where Derek is the one guy on the Viking roster that can make something out of nothing if he needs to, and that's what he did right there.
That old saying, he can make somebody miss inside of a phone booth. He did that just right there. I think 2 or 3 times with 2 guys right behind him, 1 guy in front of him, juke left, juke right, get a 7-yard gain. What a run.
Ball spotted on the Viking 47. Give it to Kendrick. But that was a face mask, and I'm sure enough the official saw it. Yusuf is grabbing his face mask. He certainly felt it. And that should be looked like a 15-yarder to me.
Yeah, he had his hand directly on in the middle of that face mask and took him down. If he doesn't take him down with that face mask, I think he's got a little room to run outside and get the first down there.
So this is going to be a first down for the Vikings. They'll march off the penalty yardage. I can't believe it's only a 5-yarder. That shocks me, but it is going to be enough for a first down. Ball will be spotted at the Iola 48. 9:56 to play in our first half. It's Iola leading Parsons 7-0.
Let's see if the Vikings can keep the Mustangs trotting backwards. They're running the ball really well. Need to keep the momentum going.
Houck in the shotgun. Takes the snap. A lot of time to throw. He's going to go deep, looking for Derek Williams, and Derek's going to be out of bounds. Led him a little bit too much to the right. But that's going to be, Derek Williams is definitely going to be a deep threat. And the Vikings are going to need to do that once in a while. You want to get a ground game established with Yusuf, but also you got to stretch the defense once in a while as well, just to keep them honest.
And pretty well thrown ball by Houck. He just led him to the right side just by a little bit. Derek had him by probably 2 or 3 yards, and that's where that first game, not having that connection really set in, will hurt you a little bit. Got to keep the defense honest with runs and some deep passes.
2nd and 10 from the Iola 47. Quick toss out to Yusuf, and he's not going to have any room to run. He's cut down for maybe even a half-yard loss. So 3rd and long coming up for the Vikings. 3rd and about 10.5 yards now. Ball spotted just outside the Iola 48-yard line. Let's see what Coach Freeze wants to call.
You got to wonder if the Vikings are going to start maybe throwing in a little play action. They've been running the ball successfully. A play action pass might just be the key.
Coming to the near side is Hauk. He's under pressure. Pass is going to be complete, but short of a first down. It's caught at the 45-yard line by Dion Sylvester. So let's see what Coach Freeze wants to do now. It's fourth and about 6 for the Vikings. Clock on the move, 8:40 to play in the first half. I think the Vikings are probably going to end up taking a timeout. We're down to 15 seconds on the play clock, and they're just now getting in their huddle. Coach Freeze keeping an eye on the play clock. Vikings are going to line up and go for it, but only 5 seconds on the clock, and sure enough, we have a timeout, but it's actually not by Parsons, it's by Iola. 8:21 to play in the first half. Iola leading Parsons 7-0. We'll step away for a 30-second break, and we'll be back with the Vikings' 4th down play. You're listening to Viking Football on V93.
When Derek was in 6th grade, he hurt his knee, and it bothered him, but not until really last year after he played in a tournament, and we decided to make him an appointment. He had a torn meniscus.
I was the most impressed how fast Dr. Meister was able to schedule me in and be able to repair my knee as fast as he did. As soon as I got to therapy, I knew it was going to be a quick recovery. After a 30-minute surgery in 5 months, I'm back to 100% playing sports again.
Welcome back to Marvel Park, everybody. Scott Marlowe, Ryan Chandler bringing you Viking football on V93. Vikings facing a 4th and 7 from the Iola 45. Unofficially, we have Ethan Hauk at 3 out of 7 here in the first half for 48 yards and 1 interception. And probably going to have to go to the air on this play, you would think, unless the Vikings run some sort of draw play, trying to catch Iola a little bit flat-footed.
What I haven't seen the Vikings do, and I think it might work for them, is maybe running a bubble screen with Derek. He showed earlier he can make one guy, if not 2 guys, miss at once, and he has the breakaway quickness and the speed to get the 7 yards that you need here.
Vikings will send a couple of receivers to the far side, 1 receiver to the near side. Kendrick in the backfield alongside with quarterback Ethan Hauk. He takes the snap, rolls to the far side. He's under pressure. He'll have to get rid of it quickly, and it's going to be intercepted by Iola and returned to the Viking 44-yard line. So Hauk throws his 2nd interception of the first half, and Iola will take over, already leading Parsons 7-0 with 8:12 to play in our first half.
The Mustangs are bringing pressure from the backside, forcing Hauk to roll out a little quicker than what I think he would want to, and you can feel that pressure coming on you as a quarterback and force the ball that really would have been a real tight window to look at. Unfortunate event there, almost like a punt.
So Iola has it on their own 45, 1st and 10. They've had a lot of success on the ground in the first half, and they lead Parsons 7-0. Cole takes the snap, running play over the right side, bounces off a couple of tacklers, and it is going to be another first down for Iola.
Yeah, the Vikings looked a little tired on that defensive set right at the moment. They've been running at will to the right and to the left. Vikings have to continue to hit them at the line of scrimmage and hold that guy right at the line until the linebackers can fill the gaps and the safeties can come over the top and clean up the mess.
Kason Barker of Iola having a huge first half. Picked up about another 12 yards on that play, and Iola has it in Viking territory now, 1st and 10. This time Barker wrapped up in the backfield.
That almost looked like
and
it was
be thrown for a short loss.
Almost looked like it was a false start because I didn't see the quarterback or the running back move, but all of the offensive line except the center took off.
Yeah, and there's been a few few times here in the first half where something hasn't looked right. But there's only been a couple of flags thrown, and obviously the officials are right on top of the action. They have a lot better look than we do. But, yeah, I thought there was going to be a penalty flag on that play as well. Iola facing a 2nd and 13 from the Viking 47. Running play right up the middle and dragging a couple of tacklers before being brought down inside the 40. It's a nice pickup down to the Viking 38-yard line, down to 6:50 to go in our first half. And it doesn't look, Ryan, like, at least here in the first half, it doesn't look like either team is really built to come back from a large deficit. So, the Vikings are already down 1 score. Hopefully they don't go down any more than that going into the locker room. But Iola on the move again, 3rd and 5 from the Viking 38.
The initial contact up front is good. Linebackers got to fill the gaps and start hitting the running backs.
Cole takes the snap. Another running play. It's going to be a first down and more, down to the 25. Knocked out of bounds. We're going to say more around the 26-yard line. Another first down on the ground for the Mustangs. Clock stopped with 6:18 to go in the first half. Iola leading it 7-0.
With this triple option look, everything is tight inside, so that's allowing the outside to be open. As a cornerback or as a safety, you can't get caught looking inside or you're going to give up your outside contains.
Viking football being brought to you by Labette Health. For the 2019 season, Iola on the move, 1st and 10. That had 2 men in motion, so that has to be a penalty. We've got flags all over the place. So that'll help the Viking defense a little bit. They'll get a breather, and they'll back Iola up 5 yards.
The initial push from the Vikings, I've been saying it all night. The initial push by the line is really well. You got to give Iola credit. They're getting to that second level and hitting those linebackers, or if you have a safety coming up, they're being able to be on the spot and hit them where the Vikings defense want to be at.
So that's going to back the ball up to the Viking, just inside the Viking 31-yard line. It'll be 1st and 15 for the Mustangs. Again, 6:17 to go in the first half. It's Iola 7 and Parsons 0. Cole takes the snap, coming to the near side, option play. A lot of running room on the near side, 30, 25, inside the 20. Short of a first down, but another nice gain for Barker.
Did see a big hit on the quarterback. Looked like I think that was 86. 86, that might have been 66 there. It might have been Malik Ferguson. Was right on the quarterback on a pitch, and he put a pretty good lick on him. Hopefully you can keep getting hits like that. That's going to slow this offense down a little bit.
We'll call it about 2nd down and 5 now for Iola. Ball spotted just outside the Viking 20-yard line. Iola leading by a touchdown, 7-0, 6:03 to go in the first half. Hand off to Barker. He bounces off a couple of men and plows forward. Didn't look like he was going to have anything there, but he manages to get a couple of more yards out of it. He has been running hard, been relentless here in the first half against the Viking defense.
Good job by the Vikings to only hold them to a couple yards. If they would have not wrapped him up right at the initial spot and had somebody come and clean it up, he would have had 4 or 5 more yards and would have looked pretty good there.
Third and 2 for Iola from the Viking 18. Cole in the shotgun. The ball is fumbled. Who's going to come up with the loose ball? Iola says they have it, and that will be enough for a first down if they do. Vikings have forced a couple of fumbles tonight, but they haven't been able to recover one yet. And indeed, it is a first down for the Mustangs. So everything going right for Iola right now. 1st and 10 from the Viking 15. Only 5:13 to go in the first half. Clock on the move.
Unlucky break for the Vikings. Made a great stop right there. Would have been short of the first down. And he fumbles. The ball goes 3 or 4 yards in front, right of the line, and able to get a first down.
It looked like a couple of the Vikings probably had a chance to fall on it, but Iola ends up with it. Running play right up the middle, and it's going to be a touchdown for Iola, almost untouched. Getting into the end zone is Isaac Batters on a 15-yard scamper, and it is 13-0 Iola.
Pretty simple play. They had a guy go in motion. The linebacker's eyes got caught on the guy going to the right. Hand the ball off to the up back going right up the middle. Defensive line wasn't quite at the spot where he needed to be to make the tackle up front. Able to run it in for 6.
So 13-0, Iola, 4:47 to play in the first half. Iola to attempt the extra point, and the kick is blocked. Venter has his kick blocked, but it's still a 2-touchdown lead for Iola. They're up 13-0, 4:47 to play in the first half. We'll be back in 30 seconds with the kickoff. You're listening to Viking football on B93.
When it comes to choosing the best health care for yourself and your loved ones, there are other hospitals.
And then there's our hospital.
The difference is that while other hospitals will care for you,
We will actually care about you.
Other hospitals make decisions based on what's best for their bottom line.
While we do what's best for our community.
If you're looking for a pretty hospital, they're out there.
But if you're looking for the best hospital, it's here.
And here.
Welcome
When
back to Marvel
award-earning
Park.
care is as close as
Everybody,
this, there's no reason
Vikings
to go
gonna have
anywhere
to
else.
At Labette Health,
get something
we
cooking
center
on the
around you.
offensive end on this drive. They are down 13-0, 4:47 to go in our first half.
A little bit of a momentum boost for the Vikings special team defensive unit, getting the hands up and blocking the extra point in a low-scoring game with only 2 scores in the first half, and that could end up coming up pretty big for the Vikings if they can get some offense going, put some points on the board before half, go in with your head held high. You're battling. Iola's a tough team, and you've lost quite a bit. You just want to see how the Vikings are going to respond to back-to-back touchdown drives by the Mustangs. You got to keep your head up, play hard, trust your coaches. Good things will come.
And Iola will get the second half kickoff as well, so it'd be great if the Vikings could take this kickoff and chew up about 4 minutes and 45 seconds and get into the end zone right before halftime. Right now, Iola in charge, 13-0. Ball falls off the tee, so Venter will reset.
And you got to figure another little pooch is coming.
Sure looks like it, sure enough. Little pooch kick, fielded at about the 32. Across the 40 to about the 42. Runner still on his feet. Wrapped up around the 43.
Good effort there. Catch the ball, made a cut, got it in front of the 40. Similar starting position for the Vikings on this drive. They were moving the ball by running, going to different sides. Keep the variety going and see what else the Vikings can do. Maybe throw that deep ball to Derek or Barkus on the outside.
So Parsons has it on their own 42-yard line. 1st and 10. Tanner Barkus, one of 2 receivers to the far side, along with Julius Smith-Reese. And boy, before the Vikings even have their first down play, we're going to have a timeout called by Coach Free. So 4:38 to play in our first half. It's Iola 13 and Parsons nothing. We'll take another 30-second break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Viking football on V93.
It can happen any time or place. You feel a tingle in your face. You move your arm feels weak. The words won't come when you're trying to speak. Folks may think it's all a joke, but it ain't no joke. It's a stroke. Face, arm, speech, time. That smells fast.
Better call 911.
At Strokes First Sign. Time means brain, so don't waste time. Time means brain, so don't waste time. Act fast. Face, arm, speech, time. Act fast. Face, arm, speech, time. Act fast.
In an emergency, take me to Labette Health.
And we're back live at Marvel Park. 4:38 to play in the first half. It's been all Iola so far. They lead the Vikings 13-0. Iola has done virtually all of their damage on the ground. The Viking defense stiffened first couple of possessions. Got off the field on a couple of 4th down plays, but Iola been running their offense very efficiently here in the second quarter. See if the Vikings can get on the board before halftime. Ethan Hauk Back out on the field, he's in the shotgun. Yusuf Kendrick on his right side. And we have a penalty flag thrown, so this is going to come back. Kendrick is going to have a nice gain, almost to midfield, but it is coming back. I think we had a false start. Illegal procedure on the Vikings.
It looks like Coach Freeze is asking what the issue is. I don't think Yusuf got his hand all the way on the ground. That's what I mean, I could figure out from what he was pointing at. I guess Coach was asking him what was he not said or what the issue was.
Now it was going to be about a 6-yard gain out to the 48 or 49-yard line. Instead, it's a 5-yard penalty back to the Viking 37. So not what Coach Freeze and the Viking offense was needing at this point of the game, already trailing 13-0. Here comes the Viking offense.
Let's see if the Vikes can not let that hiccup affect this drive. This is a big, big drive here.
Houck in the shotgun. Puts a man in motion. It's Derek Williams. They fake it to Derek. Now they throw it out to Barkus. And he gets hit hard in the backfield and is swallowed up for either no gain or even a short loss.
Those are shades of some last year plays throwing that around the edge.
Another flag thrown. Laying right at the Viking 45-yard line. Let's see what the call is. It's defensive holding. So that'll help the Vikings out a little.
Get the distance that they lost on the penalty they had them for themselves. Tit for tat there. That'll for sure help out and get the Vikings in a little better field position.
They haven't marked off the penalty yardage yet. I believe one of the Iola coaches is out on the field talking to the head referee.
And that the defensive holding is a tough call to make because in high school there's a lot of hand fighting back and forth between offense and defense. A lot of times you can have that initial contact within the first 5 yards. You get past that first 5 yards, then you run into holding territory or defensive pass interference.
They ended up spotting the ball just shy of the Viking 46-yard line, so it's actually going to be a very odd, about first down and about 6 for the Vikings. Houck wants to throw. He's got a lot of time. He's going to air it out, and he's going to overshoot everybody. It almost looked like he and Derek were not on the same page. Derek was starting to go across the field, and Houck was expecting him to run straight to the end zone, it looked like, and overshot him by about 5 or 6 yards.
Yeah, Derek looked like he was running a post, and Houck threw a fly pattern. Beautiful throw, and I think if they would have been kind of in tune, that could have been 6 because, again, I mean, that's the second time when they've gone deep to Derek where he's had 2 or 3 steps on the defenders.
And Houck showed off his arm strength on that play for sure. He hurled that thing probably about 50 yards. So now it's 2nd down and 7 for the Vikings. That was probably a good time to call that play by Coach Freeze. Quick throw is going to be incomplete, went off the fingertips of Smith-Reese, and now it's going to be 3rd down and 7 for the Vikings. 3:42 to play in the second quarter. It's Iola 13 and Parsons 0.
Ball had just a little too much air underneath it, making it sail on him. Would have been pretty close to a first down, if not past the first down marker for Smith, Reese, and Houck on the connection there. Get the ball down just a little bit, try and put it on his chest, and get that first down.
Vikings with 4 receivers. Houck once again in the shotgun, takes the snap. Quick pass to the near side is complete, and it's going to be a first down. That's Noah Ryan on the reception. And he's going to be into Iola territory at about the 45-yard line.
Good pass, good catch, good run after contact by Ryan there. He caught it, turned his head upfield, got his hips going in the right direction to make sure and get the first down and extend this drive.
Listed at 6'3", 195. He's a pretty big target for Houck. Vikings with 3 receivers, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Snap, Running play to Kendrick. We haven't seen him for a while. He's got a big hole. He's into the secondary and gets brought down at about the 23-yard line. That is the best run of the night for Kendrick and the Vikings with their deepest penetration into Iola territory. 1st and 10 from the Mustang 23. 3:13 to play in the first half. Vikings down 13-0.
After I counted, it looked like 6 pass plays in a row. You got to keep that defense honest, and they had a huge gap, and Youssef was able to run his way for a great gain.
It's a snap to Hauk. Quick pass to Derek, trying to dance around. Misses, makes one man miss. He's still on his feet. Great run by Derek. He is going to have a first down, and it is going to be 1st and goal. Derek Williams doing what he does best, just letting his athleticism take over. And with 2:48 to play in the first half, the Vikings have it 1st and goal from the 9-yard line.
I'll tell you what, in the middle of all the traffic there, Derek put about 4 defenders in a spin cycle and gained another 4 yards. Good pitch and catch, great run after catching the ball.
And the Vikings are going to keep it on the ground. Sure enough, Kendrick, nice cut. He's at the 5. He's going to be into the end zone, and the Vikings are on the scoreboard. 9-yard run by Kendrick, and that is a very nice 58-yard drive by the Vikings, and they answer Iola's score, and it's now Iola 13 and Parsons 6 with 2:31 to play in the first half.
I'll tell you what, Youssef looked like a man running with a purpose those last 2 runs. Give the man the ball with some space, let the line create him a hole, and he's going to get through there fast. He's going through there like a D train, just ready to get home in the station.
And Matt Ray will come out to attempt the extra point. 5'10", 150-pound junior, trying to get the Vikings to within 6. Ethan Hauk, the holder. It's a good snap, and the kick may have been partially blocked, and it is no good. Boy, there's good penetration by Iola. So the Vikings are down by 7, 13-6, 2:31 to play in the second quarter. We'll be back in 30 seconds. This is Viking football on B93.
When it comes to choosing the best health care for yourself and your loved ones, there are other hospitals.
And then there's our hospital.
The difference is that while other hospitals will care for you,
We will actually care about you.
Other hospitals make decisions based on what's best for their bottom line.
While we do what's best for our community.
If you're looking for a pretty hospital, they're out there.
But if you're looking for the best hospital, it's here.
And here.
When award-earning care is as close as this,
There's no reason to go anywhere else.
At Labette Health, we center around you.
Welcome back, everybody. The Parsons Vikings get their first touchdown of the 2019 season. 58-yard drive capped off by a 9-yard touchdown scamper by Youssef Kendrick. Point after was no good, and still Iola leading Parsons 13-6, but for the first time tonight, Vikings have a little momentum. 2:31 to play in the first half, and Ryan will be really big here for the Viking defense to stand up strong and make sure Iola doesn't get a score going into the locker room.
That's very true, and it starts right here on this kickoff. Try and pin them deep. Let your coverage get down the field and make a tackle. Try and keep them as deep into their side of the territory as possible, because I haven't seen Iola with a whole lot of deep throws or anything like that so far in this game. And if you force them deep, get them in long yardage situations, you're going to force them to pass. And we got a lot of speed on the backside in our D-backs back there that could make a couple plays.
Yeah, Iola not really built for throwing the football, doesn't look like, but they've been able to get big chunks on the ground. And so even if they keep the ball on the ground, 2.5 minutes, plenty of time for this Mustang team to march down and get into the end zone before we reach halftime. Matt Ray has the ball teed up. End over end kick. Nobody there for Iola, and it's going to roll out of bounds, and Iola catches a break. That could have easily been recovered by the Vikings deep in Iola territory, but the ball rolled out of bounds at the Iola 20.
Now, unfortunate for the Vikings, if it would have took another hop just straight up in the air, Parsons had a couple gunners that were right on top of the ball and could have been a huge play for the Vikings. Instead, unfortunately, it comes back out for the Mustangs in a lot better field position than what they could have started at.
Yeah, they're going to move the ball out because it went out of bounds at the 20-yard line, so they're going to move it all the way out to the 35 since the ball did go out of bounds.
Because the kick went out of bounds, it'll be Iola.
Defensive line is going to have to step up right here because they have been able to run right up the middle, fill the gaps, stand strong and let the linebackers, safeties fill and wrap up.
Iola has the ball 1st and 10 from their own 35. 2:25 to play in the first half. Iola on top 13-6. Running play to the near side, and it's going to go for very little yardage, maybe 1 yard. Zane Whitney.
Way to keep contained by the Viking defensive end. You had a lot of guys coming at him to try and block him to get the edge. Defensive end held his position. Corner was right there, held contained, forced him to the middle, and made a good tackle.
Iola up to the line of scrimmage now with 1:54 to go in the first half. Cole looks over the defense. And the pistol, he fumbles the snap, picks it up and goes straight forward for a decent gain before getting hit hard at the 40-yard line. So that's at least the 3rd fumble here in the first half by Iola, but they have recovered all of them so far, but hopefully that will change in the second half and the Vikings can figure out a way to fall on some of these loose balls.
The bounces have for sure gone Iola's way so far.
Definitely.
You had, just a second ago, you had the kickoff that a half a second more, Vikings would have recovered it. You had the fumble for 3 yards forward. But those do happen in high school football. Hopefully they turn our way, like you said.
3rd and 5 for Iola. Toss play to the near side. It's going to be close to a first down. It'll depend on the spot. I think it's going to be about a yard or a half yard shy. Once again, it was Whitney on the carry. And that will bring up 4th and 1. So we're going to see what Iola does. 4th and 1 from their own territory. If they have a decent punter, it would seem like conventional wisdom would be to punt the ball away, but it looks like their offense is still on the field. And who can blame him? They've been picking up some pretty good yardage on the ground, so they may be trying to draw the Vikings off sides as well. 1:02 to play in the first half. And they do snap it, and it's a first down for Iola. All the way out to midfield, dragging a couple tacklers again. Kason Barker, 5'6", only 160 pounds, but he is a strong, strong runner. And we have a timeout on the field. 56 seconds to play in the first half. Ball spotted right at the 50-yard line. It's Iola 13 and Parsons 6. We'll step away for a 30-second break and be back with the conclusion of the first half. You're listening to Viking Football on B93.
Hi, it's Brian at Bowen Pharmacy. Today I want to visit with you about the flu shot. It's that time of the year, and at Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South, we have. Did you know that most insurances pay 100% of your flu shot? That makes it $0, no out-of-pocket expense to you. If you want your flu shot and you want us to do it, please come see us, and we'd be more than happy to always take care of you and your family, where your family comes first at Bowen Pharmacy.
.56 seconds to go in the first half. Iola leading at 13-6. They will have it 1st and 10 from midfield. See if I can squeeze this in. Want to let our listeners know that starting next Monday, September 9th at 7:30 a.m., Parsons' Son sports editor Sean Fry is going to have a new weekly radio show beginning. That's going to be on KLKC 106.7 FM. Sean will be talking about local sports. He's also going to hit some of the big national news stories, and he's also going to have a special guest to be interviewed each week. Again, that is on 106.7 at 7:30 a.m. every Monday morning. Football has resumed. Pass play deep over the middle, and that could have easily been a touchdown for Iola, but the ball was overthrown by Cole, and you can kind of see, Ryan, where the Vikings weren't quite ready because Iola's been keeping the ball on the ground pretty much the entire first half, and the wide receiver had a couple of steps on the defensive backs.
Yeah, the Vikings have definitely been respecting the run a lot. You're going to be vulnerable to that deep pass, and you got to wonder, I didn't see Derek out there, and I've seen him a little bit on the defensive side. If he could have maybe outran and maybe caught that ball on the deep throw.
Yeah. Doolittle was the intended target, and he got turned around, and the throw was just off target. Cole under center again for Iola. 2nd down and 10 from the 50. Throw it out into the flat, and Is that a live ball? It was behind the line of scrimmage. I thought it would be live.
It looked like he threw
almost looked like a
backwards.
lateral. Yeah, I thought that was a backwards pass, and I think Coach Freeze is asking the official, hey, what's up?
Yeah, that was awfully close to being a great thing for the Vikings. He threw it to his running back, and it looked like the running back was behind him. And if I remember right, that's a live ball. Could have been picked up and taken for a long way.
I'll have to ask Coach Freeze about that if we can get him up for a post-game interview. I thought that was going to be a live ball. Instead, it's incomplete. 3rd and 10 now for Iola from the 50, and they kind of put themselves in a position where they have to throw. Doesn't mean that they will, of course, and they do keep it on the ground for virtually no gain. Coach Freeze wants a timeout to get the ball back, and he does. So 4th and 10, 40 seconds to go in the first half. Ball spotted just across midfield at the Viking 49-yard line, and I don't believe Iola has punted here in the first half. They've gone for it a couple of times on 4th down, not converted on either opportunity, but so things have picked up in the second quarter, Ryan. We have a timeout on the field, but we were 0-0 at the end of the first quarter, and then Iola had back-to-back scores, doing virtually all their damage on the ground, and the Vikings had that nice answer on the 58-yard drive to get within 7 at 13-6. So you just get the feeling the teams are getting into the flow a little bit, and I think we're going to have a pretty competitive second half.
I agree with you 100%. You've seen some passes by the Vikings that are getting lower and hitting the wide receivers in their hands and their chest, putting the ball where they need to be putting it. Yusuf is starting to pick up, seeing the gaps and the holes where he needs to go, and they're making this a great game. And huge stop by the Viking defense right there on 3rd and 10 with a draw going right up the middle. Way to step up, hold your ground.
Iola is going to send their punting unit on. Derek Williams back around the 25-yard line, and they're going to kick it away from him. That is going to be a 1-yard punt at the most. I'm not sure what the play was designed to be. They were definitely kicking away from Derek Williams, but it only went about a yard beyond the line of scrimmage before it went out of bounds.
That would be equivalent of, for you golfers out there, that's a complete shank right.
He was definitely trying to kick right, boy, but even though he positioned his body, it looked like he was trying to kick it right into the Iola sideline, and that's exactly where the ball went.
I would understand trying to kick away from Derek, obviously with the speed and quickness that he has. That's pretty bold with a 1-yard punt, giving the Vikings good field position to start a drive with 36 seconds left to go in the first half.
Vikings have it on their own 48 and 36 seconds to work with. They're down 13-7. Hauk wants to throw deep. He's looking for Derek, and it is going to be broken up at the last second. Nice job by the safety coming over. That would have been a huge pickup for the Vikings inside the Iola 15-yard line. No doubt who Hauk is wanting to hit on these fly patterns. The timing was there, but it was just a nice defensive play by Iola.
He made a good play running over that defense back. Had a long run to get where that ball was at. Threw it up, not really up for grabs, like you said. It was just a great play. I like the strategy going deep on 1st down.
So 2nd down and 10 for the Vikes from their own 48. 30 seconds to play in the half. Hauk wants to throw again. He's got a man open, and it's caught for a 1st down and more. 35. And did they get out of bounds to stop the clock? He did. Smith Reese was the receiver. And it's a nice pickup inside the 35 down to about the Iola 33-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Vikings with 21 seconds to play in our first half. Again, it's Iola leading Parsons 13-6.
Good move on the outside after a good pitch and catch by Hauk and Smith Reese.
Each team has one timeout remaining. Hauk wants to throw again. Can't find a man open. He's scrambling to the near side. Looking. Needs to get out of bounds. He's not going to get there, I don't think, but he's still on his feet, and he does end up getting out of bounds at around the 20-yard line, and that'll stop the clock with 10 seconds.
Good decision not to force a throw on the run. He had multiple receivers down there in the end zone, but couldn't necessarily put enough fire underneath it on the run and throw.
We have our first injury of the first half. One of the Iola Mustangs right in front of the Viking bench being attended to by the Viking trainer. I think it's a cramp. They're pushing on the young man's toe, trying to probably got a cramp in his calf, I'm guessing. So 10.5 seconds to play in the first half. Vikings down 13-6, but for the second straight possession, the Vikings on the move. They have it at the 20-yard line, and depending on how this goes, Ryan, probably time for 2 plays.
I would say with 10 seconds, if you're throwing 2, maybe 3 if you go real quick. You have Derek who can get up there and jump and get a ball. You might want to throw one back shoulder, see if he can reach up and bring it down. Or a good slant right across the middle could always surprise the linebackers getting right behind him and going in for 6.
The injured player, Kason Barker, he's been huge for Iola here in the first half, so I know they're hoping that it was nothing more than a cramp, which is pretty obvious that's what it was. He's limping off the field, and I'm sure he'll come back ready to play in the second half. So, again, the Vikings with that 1 timeout, they don't have to go to the sidelines. They can work the middle of the field if they want to and burn that last timeout. We'll see what Coach Freeze calls as the Vikings come out of this timeout huddle. Been a very competitive first half. Iola was starting to run over the Vikings the first half of the second quarter and got up 13-0, but the Vikings have responded nicely, and they're just 20 yards away from maybe tying this score up. Now we've got a timeout by Iola. They wanted to see how the Vikings were going to line up with their offensive set, and now Iola will adjust. 10 seconds to play in the first half. It's Iola 13, Parsons 6. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Viking Football on V93.
Couldn't work as long as I wanted to, you know. I'm getting older and my knee would start hurting and I'd have to quit. It wouldn't hurt much if you didn't do anything, but I don't want to not do anything. So I went to see Dr. Mosier and determined we needed to do a knee replacement. They work like a well-oiled machine. All you have to do is be there and do what they say and everything goes great. Simple as falling off a rock. It was just 10 weeks ago that I had my surgery, and this morning I rode 3 miles on my bicycle and it felt real good.
Both teams still in their timeout huddles. Take advantage of the break-in play to let our listeners know that Dr. Terry Rothstein has been hosting Doctor on Call for many, many years on KLKC, 7:30 a.m. Thursday mornings. And talk about somebody, Ryan, who's very knowledgeable, very competent. Dr. Terry Rothstein knows his stuff. And again, that Doctor on Call show every Thursday morning at 7:30 on KLKC, and that's brought to you by Labette Health.
Got a quick halftime here for you. Over 10 miles down, Labette County is down 34-0 to the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons.
Ooh, tough season opener for Labette County, down 34-0 to the Dragons. Here we go. Houck in the shotgun, only 10 seconds to play. He wants to throw. He's going to go to the end zone, and it is going to be intercepted in the end zone. Derek Williams was headed over that way, couldn't get there in time. Ethan Houck with his 3rd interception of the first half, but that was, not really his fault. He was just thrown to the end zone trying to get this game tied up before halftime. And unfortunately, it ended up in the hands of Isaac Batters of Iola. So Iola, that's the second time tonight Iola's picked off a pass in the end zone. So Iola's going to come out, I'm sure, take a knee, and they're going to go to the locker room with a 13-6 advantage over the Vikings.
Houck had a lot of pressure coming on him right at the moment when he was throwing, and unfortunately kind of threw it up for grabs on a throw where you have multiple receivers going. You want to put as much zip on the ball as you can, or put it to a spot where only your receiver can make the catch, or it's going to go out of bounds or sail it through the back of the end zone.
Iola offense back out on the field. And, well, they don't take a knee. They actually are going to run a play, and it's going to be a nice gain out across the 35 to the 40 before him being brought down. I'm a little surprised they bothered running a play, but halftime is here. So pretty entertaining first half has come to an end with your score, Iola 13, and Parsons 6. We're going to send it back to the station for a few minutes, and then Ryan Chandler and I will come back and break down the first half. Again, your halftime score, Iola 13, Parsons 6. We'll be back in a few minutes. You're listening to Viking football on V93.
When it comes to choosing the best health care for yourself and your loved ones, there are other hospitals.
And then there's our hospital.
The difference is that while other hospitals will care for you,
We will actually care about you.
Other hospitals make decisions based on what's best for their bottom line.
While we do what's best for our community.
If you're looking for a pretty hospital, they're out there.
But if you're looking for the best hospital, it's here.
And here.
When award-earning care is as close as this,
There's no reason to go anywhere else.
At Labette Health, we center around you.
It could happen any time or place. You feel a tingle in your face. You move your arm feels weak. The words won't come when you're trying to speak. Folks may think it's all a joke, but it ain't no joke. It's a stroke. Face, arm, speech, time. That smells fast.
Better call 911.
At Strokes First Sign. Time means brain, so don't waste time. Time means brain, so don't waste time. Act fast. Face, arm, speech, time. Act fast. Face, arm, speech, time. Act fast.
In an emergency, take me to Labette Health.
Hi, it's Brian at Bowen Pharmacy. Today I want to visit with you about the flu shot. It's that time of the year. And at Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South, we have. Did you know that most insurances pay 100% of your flu shot? That makes